Okay, so everyone, welcome to audit course session number 12A. Today we are going to discuss the RC phase shift oscillator, that is the low frequency oscillator analysis design. So this is my circuit. I hope that this is clear. Let's make it 30. Yeah. So we have the amplifier network and here we have the feedback network. Now let me go to the general diagram. So oscillator is a circuit which generates sinusoidal output waveform automatically without any input. So here we have the amplifier block with a gain A, and here we have the feedback network. Okay, and there is no external AC input applied, but the amplifier is powered with the VCC supply, okay, DC supply, and we have the output. Now let us relate it over here. So here the yellow color circle inside, it's my amplifier network, which is nothing but your voltage divider network. And this is basically a common emitter configuration. Okay, we have R1 and R2 biasing resistors, RC and RE given as 10 kilo ohm and 3.3 K. R1 and R2 is 150 and 27 kilo ohms. The bypass capacitor C is 1 micro. Okay, this is the amplifier network, which is powered with 10 volts DC supply. And here below we have the feedback network, which consists of three RC elements, okay, connected in this manner. So we have CARX, CBRY, and CCRZ. Okay, and we have marked over here point A, B, C, D. Now, because this network, RC phase shift oscillator network, requires that the phase shift of this entire network be 0 degree. See that the CEE common emitter amplifier provides a phase shift of 180 degree. So it is known fact that one RC element provides a phase shift of 60. Since we have three, 180 from the feedback network and 180 from the amplifier network, the total phase shift will be 360. Okay, that is how the first Barkhusen's criteria is satisfied. Now, over here, if you see carefully, let us see the formula. So this is the RC phase shift oscillator. It doesn't require any AC input and it generates a low frequency sinusoidal AC output. So this is comes under the low frequency category. Now, the frequency of oscillations is given by the formula F naught is equal to 1 upon 2 pi RC square root of 6 plus 4K, where your R is nothing but Rx Ry, which is we have considered to be 5.1 kilo ohms, and Rz is considered to be 7.8 kilo ohms because we have to consider the input impedance of the BJT, that is HI, which is around 2.7 kilo ohms assumed. That's why this value is 7.8 kilo ohms. Okay, and CA, CB, and CC, which is equal to C, which is we have considering 0.0. Now let me explain that input impedance. Okay, so if you see carefully, this CA and this RX is grounded. This RY is grounded. So this RZ is not grounded. It is going into the the base terminal of the transistor. So that is why its impedance are not matching properly. That's why we have to keep this. We have to consider the input impedance of the BJT. Okay. So with this, we calculate the small value of K, which is RC upon R, which will be around 1.9608. And we calculate the value of F naught, which is which comes out to be 838.748 Hertz. Okay, so this is the calculated value of F naught. Now we have to evaluate its value by simulation. So let's build this circuit in LTSpice. So already I've kept the circuit ready for your reference. Let me just show it to you whether all the components are in place. Let me adjust it. Okay, I've already made the circuit in the circuit is ready in LTSpice. Let us check it in detail thoroughly. So this is my R1 150, R2 is 27, RC is 10K, RE is 3.3K. Bypass capacitor CE is 1 microfarad, and here we have it as RZ. We have to consider it as higher value, okay, because taking care of input impedance. That is why it is 7.8 kilo ohms over here, and this is CA, CB, CC are same 0.01, and RX and RY are same, which is 5.1. Okay, and we have CO. capacitor connected. So this is my network, RC passive oscillator network. Now, yeah. So we have considered a transistor with a beta of 330. So we have defined the dot model statement. We have written dot model NPN1. That is the name which we have given over here. Okay, and we have given beta. Beta is written as BF equal to 330. IS is the reverse saturation current. We have given 1 into 10 raised to minus 14, and VAF is the early voltage, which is given as 100. Okay, and yeah, right now we should be able to simulate this circuit very quickly. So there are points I marked over here, point A, B, and C, because if we want to check, we can check the phase shift at these points. It will be 60, 60, and 60. Okay, that you can do it later. But right now, let us check the output, and I have already marked the output label as Vout underscore the name. Let me go to simulate, click on run, and stop time you can give it as around 100 milliseconds. So now I'll right click, add trace, check the output. So here it is. The output is coming, as you can see very clearly, it's building up. Okay, it's building up as per it is being taught in the theory. And as soon as it achieves the A into the the loop gain into the feedback gain is 1, just greater than 1, you will attain a sustained oscillation. A sustained oscillation meaning of same frequency and of same amplitude. Okay, so these are what we get, but we want to measure it using when it has reached steady state. So let me just calculate the measure the waveforms from 40 milliseconds. Okay. Let me change this dot tran and write it start from 40 milliseconds, and we can go till, let's say, around 60 milliseconds and click on OK. So we simulate it again. This, and let me right click over here. This is, let me start from 40 milliseconds. Okay, let me simulate it again. Yeah, so here is the output which we get, and now we can expand it a little bit. What we can do is we can make it around, let's say this as around 80 milliseconds, so that it fits the screen. Yeah, you see you get a sustained oscillation. Okay, and if we expand it, yeah, so this circuit over here without any AC input is generating a sinusoidal output, almost a sinusoidal output. Okay, with a peak to peak value, right? And yeah, so it's generating that. Now we want to measure the frequency. Okay, so how do we measure the frequency? We have used the dot measure statement. We are calling dot measure T1. Find time when V out is equal to 0, cross 1, and find time when T2 when V out is equal to 0, cross 3. And we are writing defining time period as T2 minus T1. And here we are writing dot measure statement frequency 1 upon T. That is very obvious. But let me explain it to you. What does this mean? So I'll use the annotations over here. So let me draw this line over here. Okay, and now let me select the color as let's say blue. So let me mark this sinusoidal waveforms like this, once and twice, and it's going again. Okay, this x-axis is the time period. Okay, this x-axis is the time period. Okay, and this is actually zero time. T. This is, let's say this is T1 and this is T2. Let me mark with different color. This time over here is T1, and this time over here is T2. And how do we measure the time period of a signal? So time period of a signal will be, let me mark, take color red. So it will be from year to year. So this is basically my time period, T, capital T. Okay. So why we are writing it as cross 1 and cross 3? So for the first time when V out, this is V out nothing but, right? This is nothing but your V out waveform. Oh, this is your V out. This is peak to peak amplitude, correct? Whenever V out becomes 0 for the very first time, whenever it's crossing first time, so this crossing I can mark it as, let's say, in yellow color. So this is the first time it is crossing. So that's why it is written as cross 1. And why again cross 3 is written? Because this is first, this is second, and this is third cross. Okay. This is nothing but your third cross. For the third time is crossing. Okay. So that's why it's written over here cross 3. And this, if you make it as frequency as 1 upon T, you can easily calculate the frequency directly rather than doing it. I hope that this is clear why we have written here cross 1 and cross 2. Okay, let me clear the drawings. Okay, fine. And let me go to the waveform now. So see, it's very difficult to measure a frequency like this. We can do it, but we might not get an accurate value. So that's why I let LT Spice do it. So what we will do is again go over here. So go to view, go to Spice error log, and here it is. You see, it's directly giving you the frequency. So it's coming out to be 857.07. Fine with it? So this is the frequency which we are getting. Now, yeah, let me go back to the PDF. How much was the frequency which we are getting over here? Okay, let me make it as around, let's say 0 to 100 seconds. And let me simulate it again. And now let us check the frequency. Go to view, spice error log, and here it is. Okay, so the calculated value of frequency is 838.748 hertz, and the simulated value is coming out to be, as you can see very clearly, it's 854.769 hertz. Okay, so that close. It's coming out to be, it's a low frequency. It's coming out to be nearby. Say. Okay, so this is how you check the frequency of oscillation. Now, what we want to do is, we can also check the peak-to-peak value of the output. It's very easy. We can check the peak-to-peak value of this output, but we are not doing that right now because we are not have a calculated value for that. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to calculate this gain A of this amplifier. Okay, and we are also going to calculate the feedback factor, the gain of the feedback network, which is capital K. Okay, so let us start doing it. So first of all, we'll calculate this amplifier, A. So what we will do is we'll disconnect this network, okay, and we'll treat this circuit as an amplifier circuit. We apply the input, okay, externally to just check the gain, okay, and that input will be at this frequency, 850. What was that? 854.769. At that this particular frequency of oscillations, we will apply the input. So how to do it? Let me close this and let me open a new schematic quickly and let me copy this entire circuit. Okay, you can use this button and copy the entire circuit over here. And now we can close this part. I mean, we can keep it open. So now what we have to do is we have to only connect the amplifier network, disconnect the entire other network. So what we will do is we'll disconnect the entire other network like this. Now this is disconnected, correct? And now what we are going to do is we are going to, I mean, this is not required now. We are going to apply an external source, AC source. This is just to procedure to calculate the gain. Okay, we'll apply a AC source and let me connect it. So we have disconnected the beta network and we are applying a AC source externally. And then we connect with the ground. Okay. Also, we might have to connect a coupling capacitor over here at the input side. Okay. So let me take a capacitor, I rotate it and I connect it like this. Okay. So I've done this connection and now let me give some value. I can give around 1 microfarad easily. Yeah. And this will be your, I'll go to advanced and I click on Stein. Frequency will be same as what we have got in simulation 854.769. So it will be 854.769. DC offset will be 0. Amplitude you can give it as 10 millisecond or 10 millivolt, sorry, 10 millivolt. So we have applied this sinusoidal signal, and here is my V out. Okay, so V out upon, let me mark over here as V in. Okay, so I'm marking over here V in. So V out upon V in will directly give us the gain of this amplifier network. Okay. So again, I'm repeating, we are calculating the gain A. So for that, we are disconnecting the feedback network and applying an external input to the amplifier and checking V out upon V in, just to calculate the gain. Okay. So now let me simulate the circuit. Here I will check V out. I will plot V out and V in. So this will be V in. Okay, the frequency has to be adjusted. So what frequency shall we give? It will be 1 divided by 8. What was that? 54.79. So we can give the frequency of about, let's say, 10 milliseconds. Okay. So we can give this frequency 57.769 it is. Okay. Now let me simulate it again. Yeah. And now let me check the output. I'll add trace and I'll add V out. So this is my V in and V out. If I want to view it separately, I can do it like this. Okay. And now I'll calculate V out peak to peak value and V in peak to peak value. So for that, I can write dot measure statement very easily. So I'll go to this comment, make it, I'll write dot measure V in peak to peak, V of V in. I have given this label V in underscore the name. Okay, and then I'll copy this statement and again write it in the next line in the form of V out. So this will be V out, and this will be V out underscore the name. Next line dot measure, we'll calculate the voltage gain. So this will be param V out divided by V in. Directly we are writing over here. Okay, so this will directly give us the gain. So I'll go to simulate. I'll click on run. We are getting this input output waveform. What we are interested in? We are interested in finding the gain of this amplifier network in case of RC passive oscillator. So I'll go to view. I'll go to spice error log. Okay, so here it is showing something. Okay, fine. So what I will do is I will just delete this feedback network altogether. Okay, because right now it is not required. Let me delete it completely. And let me try running this again. And this dot measure statement. Oh, okay. I have written here comment. It should be spice directive and click on OK. Okay. And now if I run it, again check the output over here. This is the output, input output waveform. And now let me check the spice error log. It will definitely give me the answer. Yeah. The answer is coming out to be 45. The gain of the amplifier network is coming out to be 45.811. Okay. So that's what we have written over here. The gain A is 45.511. Okay, and yeah, that's it. So now what we will do is we have to calculate. Now let me show it. We have to calculate the gain of the feedback network also. So remember very carefully, the input to the feedback network is V out over here, like this. Here, this V out, and the output is the feedback which is going into the the amplifier network. So we have to just connect the feedback network. So again, let me take a new schematic and let me take the RC passive oscillator, copy it entirely again, copying this entire network again to a new schematic and pasting it over here. It has not got copied, I guess. Okay, let me try one more time. Yeah, I'll go to the new schematic and paste it over here. Now from here, I don't require the amplify network, so I'll delete it as it is. Okay, so I'm left out with just let me just expand it. I don't even require this power supply, so I'll delete this. I would require this also. So if you see carefully, this is just my feedback network. Here output also I will delete it. Now in the feedback network, this is my input on this side and this is my output. So what I will do is I will define a new source. Let me just delete this also. I will take the external source and test source and apply the input over here and check the output at this point. Okay. So let me mark this. Okay. And let me give a ground over here and let me mark the label now. This will be the input. This will be the input and this will be the output for the feedback network. P of out. Fine. So that's what we are doing over here. And this will be like go to advanced and go to pulse. DC offset will be 0. Amplitude you can give it as 0.5. It doesn't matter. And frequency will be, how much is that? 854.769. So it will be 854.769. That's the frequency, right? Yeah, that's the frequency of oscillation. So we have to give an external source of this particular frequency. And now if we check the output, let me copy the dot measure statement also because that will be required. The thing is I have to label over here V in underscore the name. Okay, and V out underscore the name. And now we are ready to check the input output waveform for this feedback network to calculate the gain. So over here, the feedback gain will be, let me just calculate it, make some changes. So this will be feedback network, so feedback network gain. So let me simulate this, click on run. Dot run required will be, let's say it will give 10 milliseconds. Okay. And then I'll maximize and plot V in and V out. You remember the feedback factor gain or whatever gain of the feedback factor is always less than 1, and as it is evident over here. Now how much less than 1? Let us go over here, let us go to view, let us go to spice error log, and we are getting the output. Feedback network gain is coming out to be 0.0666. Okay, so that's the value which we are getting. So 0.066, we are approximated it to be 0.067. And when you multiply this amplifier gain with this feedback network gain, so you have to multiply this by 45.51 into 0.066, correct? That's what we are getting. Yeah, 0.0666. So when we multiply it, we get a product of around 3. Okay, and but basically the product of gain should be greater than or equal to 1 at the start, and we are getting 3. So that's how we are also satisfying the Barkhusen's second Barkhusen criteria, that is the gain of the feedback network and the gain of the amplifier, the product of it should be greater than or equal to 1 at the start. Okay, and for this circuit we are getting this number as 3. Fine. So I think that's all for this session. We have learned how to check the frequency of oscillation for this RC phase oscillator in LT-Spice. Okay, and then we learned how to check the gain of the amplifier network, and finally how to check the gain of the feedback network. And we have verified it in the form of an observation table. Okay, so we have verified the frequency of oscillation and the loop gain of the circuit. So I think that's all for this. And why it is called as low frequency? Because anything less than around, let's say, 5 kilohertz is considered to be low frequency, or 1 kilohertz rather than that. So that's how we have analyzed this RC phase oscillator. That's all for today's session. Next time, we will start with a high frequency oscillator analysis. Until then, have a good day and thank you.